we got rid of the technical malfunction that was uh, happening some moments ago. So, okay, we're going to start now. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming to our live stream. So, this live stream is going to talk about how to find clients for your business, and this is mostly designed for creators, or even small businesses that are looking to leverage content in order to find customers and in order to generate sales for their business. So, without further ado, so we're just going to start up. We're just going to start with the webinar. So this webinar is going to help you with a lot of things that you are going to face when you are starting out in the business world, when you are starting to create an online brand for yourself. So therefore, I will be sending and the resources along with this presentation, and the resources will include cheat sheet, books to read, presentation, and resource lists. So you really don't have much to worry about, but you need to make use of the worksheets that are going to be provided along with this presentation. So if you can take out the time, at least 1 hour a day or 3 hours a week, to fill out the worksheets and the resources that are presented to you, it will help your business, and it will help you stand out from the competition. So, my name is Tubdin Gurum, and I am a civil engineer by degree, and I happen to be a freelance designer. And I pride myself on calling myself as a creative entrepreneur. So, a little recap about what happened last week. We actually did our first webinar last week, and it was done in Zoom meetings. So we kind of thought it would be better to shift to YouTube Live, and that is kind of the reason why we are facing some technical difficulties while doing this presentation. But we make mistakes in our first time, and then we're going to improve upon it as we uh, as we progress. So we're going to do this on a weekly basis, and I would like to let you know that this is going to be a very transformative journey for you, and this is going to help you in creating an online brand for yourself. So a little bit of recap about what we discussed in the first week is the myth about passive income. So the myth about passive income that we hear all over the internet is that you can create wealth doing nothing. You just sit there, you create a system that is somehow going to generate it's somehow going to mint you money, but that is not the case. You cannot create an online business and then just leave it while it creates you millions and millions of dollars. That is not the case. In fact, passive income is actually active. You have to work. I'm sorry if I'm being a little bit uh, you know too much about it, but then the main idea that I'm trying to share to you is that passive income requires effort, and a lot of people don't understand it. So, but it is actually possible to create passive income. So there will be some sort of a maintenance time that you are going to dedicate in order to create your business, and then for some amount of time it is going to be passive, but then you're gonna have to come back to it to again maintain it. So we talked about that, and we also talked about product founder fit. So what a product founder fit actually is, so before we uh, explain to you what product founder fit actually is, I'm going to talk about a word that is quite common in the startup community, and it is called product market fit. So what a product market fit is that your product has to be incorporated in the community or to the audience that you're going to sell. Only then can you have a profitable business. So there is a sort of theory to it, and it is called the technology adoption cycle, and it navigates the processes that it requires for a new technology to be completely incorporated by the market. So we're not going to get into the nitty-gritty and the details about it, but I'm going to tell you something which is far more important than product market fit, and it is the product founder fit. So in simple words, what it means is, are you the right person to build the business that you want to build? So it matters what you're making, but it also matters that you are the right person to build that product. So how do you do that? How do you create, or how do you know that you have product founder fit? So one good way to understand product founder fit is to exploit your subcultures, and by that I mean to understand what are the subcultures that you belong to. So after you watch this video, or in fact, if you are watching this video and then you want to try this out for yourself, I would like to urge you to take a piece of paper and then write out 5 subcultures you belong to. And by that I mean the communities that you belong to. For example, you might be a Dota fanatic. You might play games all day long. Write that down. I am a Dota fanatic. I belong into Dota subculture. Or if you are um, an anime fan or something, write it down, and write down 5 or 10 subcultures that you belong to, and then move on to the next one. Move on to the next subculture that you belong to. Maybe you're a fashion freak, or like maybe you like fitness products or something like that. Maybe you're into fitness. So understand the subcultures that you belong to. And another way that you can assess these product founder fit is to watch where you spend your money at, to understand where you are price insensitive about. What I mean by price insensitive is that what you can do is you can go back to your previous month's bank statements, and you can see the areas in which you are spending a lot of money on, and yet you still don't realize that you're spending a lot of money on that product. So that means that you really don't care about what kind of you really don't care about how much money you spend on that product, because you actually know the value of that product. If you spend money on shoes, if you spend money on a particular type of shoe, perhaps it's boots, and you really don't care about how much money you spend on it, it's there's kind of a relation that you can start to understand, that you know how to look for boots online. So by that I mean to understand what you are most price insensitive about. So you can write that down. And while you're doing that, you will understand that you are part of somebody's target market. Perhaps it is Clark's Boots, perhaps it is anime, perhaps it is Dota. So you are part of that target audience. You are the part of some other companies' target audience. So once you understand that, you realize that you know your target audience really well. You know uh, how what kind of shoes perform better. You know what kind of shoes sell out. You know what kind of anime works. You know what kind of hero items are most sold out on Dota. So by that you start to understand what kind of a business you are interested in. So by that you can start to apply all the sales tactics, all the content material that we provide into creating a business in that subculture. So it is not necessary, but it is just an idea to digest, just an idea to understand whether you are the perfect founder for whatever you're trying to build. So a perfect founder is the one who is the target market. A perfect founder is the one who knows what their audience wants. So chances are your best idea could be what you are doing right now. Your best profitable idea may be something you spend on a day-to-day basis. So we talked about the IDA model, and I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into the IDA model, as this is one of the most crucial elements while you are working on businesses, working on creating a brand online. So what the IDA model is is that it identifies cognitive stages that an individual goes through during the buying process for a product or a service. So AIDA. So A stands for attention, I stands for interest, D stands for desire, and A stands for action. So this is one of the, you know, crucial elements of marketing, crucial elements of marketing even before online. And it was something that marketing agencies, advertising agencies used to try out, used to build their campaigns upon. And this is something that has been proven, and it is something that is going to work for years and years to come. So a small example of how the IDA models works is, let's take a cookie shop for example. So attention, to grab your attention, the cookie shop might offer you free cookie tasting. So you might be a little interested about it. Oh my God, free cookie, I think I should try it. So you just go there and you try the free cookie. And then a desire might build upon you, and then you might ask for more. You want to have more. So what you do is you buy more. So this is the IDA model that is implemented by businesses, marketing firms, advertising agencies. So once you know this concept, you start to realize this can be used in various other ways for your business. So another way that it is used in most businesses, most online brands you see, you might even be familiar with all this online shopping websites like Amazon's. So what they do is they implement the IDA model into something called a sales funnel. So what a sales funnel is, it refers to each step that someone has to take in order to become your customer. So for the awareness part, they do what is called lead generation. So how do businesses generate leads? Perhaps they provide freebies, perhaps they provide free workbooks, free worksheets, and and uh, you you get attracted to that offer, and then you get in it, and then you try to download that freebie, and then you try to for example, watch a free webinar such as this. But I assure you, we're not trying to sell you anything. This is just purely educational. So you build their interest, and then once the opportunity arrives, you allow them, and you let them have a piece of your product. You offer them your product, and that is where the action comes in. So I would like to let you know about something that is uh, very important in the online community, and we discussed it in the previous week, and we talked about something called 1000 True Fans. So 1000 True Fans is an article that was published by Kevin Kelly, and he is the founder of Wired magazine. And this article has been one of the go-to mantras for all of the marketing gurus and all of the marketing books that you might ever read on. Why this is because it works, and it is the holy grail of marketing. So briefly, I would like to tell you that you don't need a lot of fans. You don't need you don't need millions and millions of customers. You don't need millions of clients. You don't need millions to thrive online. All you need is 1000 people. 1000 people who are known as true fans, or also known as super fans, who are going to buy anything that you produce. If you are a musician, your 1000 true fans will drive 100 miles just to see you perform. Your 1000 true fans will buy whatever merch you make. Perhaps you might release a printed t-shirt about of you, playing guitar. Your true fan is going to buy that from you. Or like if you create a CD out of all the cover songs you made, your true fan is going to buy that as well. So that is a true fan, and you only need 1000 of those people. So if one true fan spends $100 on you per year, and that is not a lot, $100 per year, if you divide that by 12, that is a very small amount. per month. So if a true fan spends $100 on your product, 1,000 true fans is $100,000 a year. So that is a living. If you're not looking to make a fortune, if you're not looking to, drive a Ferrari, that is a living. You can create a sustainable career by, leveraging the idea of 1,000 true fans. So another way to understand is by understanding what is a minimum viable audience. So you don't need a lot of people, you just need a minimum viable audience. Minimum because it is not the biggest, but the smallest group of people that you're going to target. Viable because it is big enough to be sustainable, big enough to pay your bills, big enough to pay the latte that you drink while you're creating something. And by audience, it means your true fans or your super fans. So in order to build a business online, in order to understand how to build these super fans, these true fans, you need to understand what a niche is, or I think it's pronounced both ways. It can be called niche or niche, whatever you want to call it. So what a niche is that it is a segment of a larger market that has its own demands and preferences. So for example, you might see a retail shop that sells everything. That is not a niche. That is a very wide market. But if you go to a pet shop, you might see products that are only suited to pets or perhaps dogs. So that is a niche market. So to thrive in the online world and to fight your competition, your idea needs to be very niche. So it is said that if your customer is everyone, you don't have a customer. It is not to say that those retail shops don't work out. It works. It is for people who are looking to buy groceries and household items. That is a niche in itself if it is marketed in the right way. But the idea is to be as narrow and laser focused as you can while you are trying to create your customer segment. So, how do you do that? How do you find a profitable idea that you're going to be paid for? So, there are 3 steps. In fact, I should have put an arrow between each one of these circles. So, the first step is to understand the things you are good at. It might sound simple, but it is very difficult. That is why a lot of people struggle to create profitable ideas. It's because they undervalue themselves. They don't know what they're good at. They might be good at something, but they don't think it is good enough, or they don't think that they're going to be paid for something they're naturally skilled at. So what I want you to do is take out a piece of paper and write down 10 things you think that you are very good at, you are skilled at. And the next step would be to call your close friends or to take out your phone and text 5 of your closest friends and ask them what according to them is a skill that you are good at. Perhaps you you are better at picking out clothes for them. That is why that might be the reason why they take you out to shopping most of the times. So ask them about what are the things that you are good at, and be honest about yourself while you are writing about the qualities or the things that you do naturally. So do that. And another thing that we're going to talk about is the pay certainty principle, which I will get into detail as we move along with the slides. And then we're going to talk about beating competition, which is an in-depth topic, and therefore we're going to talk about it more deeply in the next seminar that is going to be held next week. So brilliance blind spot. So I just mentioned to you that we are quite self-critical species. We judge ourselves a lot. So what a brilliance blind spot is, it is something that you've been doing for so long that it comes so naturally to you that you don't even remember what it feels like to not know how to do it. You just take it for granted. For example, I like designing. I design a lot, and then I kind of assume that a lot of people might already be able to design. But then when I met a lot of people, met other people and asked them, I realized that not all people can design. So it was a skill which I took for granted because I thought everyone could do it. But there might be a skill that you have that other people might not be able to do it, but you think it is very easy for you, and that is why no one is going to pay you for it. But there are skills that people are going to pay you for. In fact, uh, there is an online course on how to do handstands, so you get the idea. If you can do handstands and make a course out of it and create thousands of dollars online, sure, you can do that. So but just don't judge yourself. So the second idea is the pay certainty principle. So it goes along in processes and steps. So you might need to do the previous idea first and then move on to the next one. So you need to write down who your audience is. So once you've selected the skill that you are going to try out, a skill that you're going to teach, or the idea that you're going to create a product around, you need to understand the pay certainty principle. Or why this step is important is because it tells you the demand for your skill, the demand for your product, or if it's viable or sustainable for your business, or if it's not. So once you select the skill, or you find out the audience, find out the people that are going to be transformed by your skill, transformed by a product, and then ask yourself or write down in a piece of paper, can they pay? Are they in the age group that earn? Are they people who have jobs? Are they people who have businesses? Can they pay? So it's just a simple question whether they have money or not. It's just a simple question. And if they do have money, will they pay for your product? So it narrows the problem down to, do they really need your service? Do they really need your product? If they really need the product, if their pain or if their pain point is so big, they will actually pay you for it. So the second and third question has to be both checked right, has to be both checked yes, if you're going to move along with this idea. So can they pay? For example, if you are creating, if you are building a vehicle for college kids, that might not be a good idea because even if they are willing to pay, they might not be able to pay because not a lot of college students have money. So that's the basic idea of the pay certainty principle. You need to understand your audience and then understand if they have the ability to pay, and if they do, will they pay? So the third idea is to beat your competition. So how do you beat your competition? First of all, you need to understand who your competition is. If you've selected an idea, then there might be a lot of people who are already in it, a lot of businesses or brands that are already trying to solve the problem that you are trying to solve. So there might already be businesses in it trying to lure your target market. So how do you beat that competition? The only way to beat the competition is to be authentic. So how do you be authentic? There is this technique called the triple threat technique, and it was coined by a person called Scott Adams, and you might have heard about Scott Adams or seen his cartoons in newspapers or Reader's Digest or magazines. And it is the cartoon, and it is called the Dilbert comics, and you might have seen it, and it specializes on, and the comic is funny because it specializes on business topics and like corporate culture and things like that. So he narrates this idea about the triple threat technique. Mind you, this guy is a best-selling author, and his cartoons are sold in thousands of dollars, and he makes a lot of money. So he gave this idea about the triple threat technique, and what this technique is, that in order to be extraordinary and in order to be authentic in what you do, you need to combine 2 to 3 skills which you feel you can perform better than 75% of other people. So by that I mean you need to find out 3 skills that you are best at. You might be better than 75% of people in that skill. So for example, what he did was, this guy was funny but not Scott Adams was funny but not the kind of stand-up comedian kind of funny. He was just funny, but he could make people laugh. And the second skill was, he was a corporate employee. He used to work in a corporate environment and he knew what exactly went in the corporate culture. So he knew a little bit of joke, and he knew a bit of insider jokes and things that made corporate people laugh. And the third skill was, he was good at making comics. And even in that skill, he wasn't the best. He could make comics, he could make good comics, but he couldn't make the world's best comic. So what he did was, he combined those 3 skills. He combined those 3 skills to create the Dilbert comic. So Dilbert comic is funny, and it talks about the business culture, and it is drawn in a very beautiful way. So once you combine your top 3 skills, you might create something which is very rare, or something that is only true to you, something that only you can do and not other people can do. So that is how you can be authentic. That is how you can differentiate yourself from the market. So we talked about this in our previous webinar, and then one of our viewers started a question about what are the 3 skills that according to you are most essential to build an online business. So this might not be true for a lot of other people, but this according to me is something that has worked for our business, something that has worked for our brand as Redendron. Is one skill is copywriting, or to be more exact, the skill of writing well. You need to be able to write really well, and by really well, I don't mean that you need to know a lot of words. You need to be able to write in simple words as you can. For example, not a lot of people understands the meaning of discombobulated, so people don't read to turn their dictionaries. People read to learn something. So we need to be able to write simple and effective, and this might be true for articles and everywhere. Most of the first draft of every idea that you can formulate, or any idea that you are trying to build, it all starts with writing first. So it is a beautiful skill, and it is a very important skill to master. And the second skill, I think, is design, because design is also said as a silent ambassador of a brand. It needs to look right, it needs to feel right. So if you are watching this presentation, you might notice there are certain design elements all over the screen. So there has been some thought put into it. So that is why skill 2 according to me is design, and skill 3 is to be able to communicate really well. And this is something that I'm working on. This is something that a lot of businesses should develop, that is to be able to communicate effectively, to be able to talk to people, to be able to network, and to be able to create deals with other people by not being very sly and sleazy about it, but just the idea of being social and doing having communication skills. So I think those are the 3 skills that are most important: writing, designing, and communicating. So empathy wins. How do you find your client? How do you get a person on the internet? How do you get a person that who doesn't even know you to pay for you, to pay for your service, to pay for your idea, to pay for your product? How do you get them to do that? That is by empathy. And by empathy, I don't mean pity. Empathy is not pity. It is the generous act of helping others become who they seek to become. There was this saying by Jim Rohn, which goes like this: the best way to be happy is to make other people happy, is to find out what makes them happy and to fulfill it for them. So that is how you can have a happy life or have a rich life. And that is also the secret to great businesses. That is what they do. Great businesses solve other people's problems. Great businesses take a person from A to B, and we'll talk about that in detail in the slides to come. So in order to do that, in order to transform somebody's life, in order to eradicate their pain, in order to help them go from one place to the other, you need to be able to deeply relate with them. So in order to transform the lives of other people, you need to deeply relate with them. And the question might arise: how do you know your audience and how do you deeply relate with them? So along with this presentation, we're also going to send out worksheets that are going to help you do just this. This is also called customer research, and this is the most crucial element of every business. This is the most important thing for your business. So in order to know your audience, you need to find out specifically who your ideal client is. You need to write down their hopes, their dreams, their ambitions, pains and struggles. So this step is also called ideal client avatar. By avatar, you might have seen that movie Avatar, where this guy gets in Pandora and he has a different version of himself, or a different version of himself which is the blue alien or something. So by avatar, I mean to create a person, create an imaginary person, give that person a name, give them person some skills, give that person all the qualities that your ideal client might have, and then create a profile. And that is your Bible, that is your ideal client Bible, and those are the kind of people that you have to seek out. So how do you create your ideal client avatar? You might need to understand where they might hang out. Do they hang out in YouTube? Do they hang out in Twitch? Do they hang out in Instagram? Where do you find your clients? What are their hopes, dreams and ambitions? Where do they work? What do they want to become? What do they want to eventually do when they have the luxury to get anything that they want? What do they struggle with? Who do they follow on social media? Who do they watch on YouTube? What do they do when they wake up? This might sound a little bit of a hard work, but this is very much important in order to find your ideal client. You need to write all of these things down, and we've made it a lot easier for you because you can download the worksheets, and we will be including the link after this presentation ends in the comment section. You can check that out. You can get into our email list where we will send you all the resources by tomorrow, I guess. So I would like to help you with that. So what is a transformation? Transformation means to take a person, in this case your ideal client, from A to B, and A is where they are right now and B is where they want to be. For example, A might be small businesses who have seen online brands but don't know how it works, and you want to take those people to businesses who use content to generate sales online. So for transformation, in order to sell transformation, in order to sell anything at all, remember this: you need to sell benefits, not features. A lot of people confuse this, a lot of people understand this, and just for the record, I would like to urge you all to leave a comment if you are watching this right now, and if you have any questions, you can do that right now in the chat box. You can send your questions in and I will answer it if it is in this topic. I will not be entertaining topics from other fields. So you need to sell benefits, not features. And a lot of other people and a lot of other businesses confuse this because they're selling features a lot. So if they create we did this a while ago when we created a journal. When we created the creators journal, how we sold it was something that was not how we do business now. So we tried to sell people the benefits, the features of using the creators journal. There is a to-do list, there is a not to-do list, there is time blocking, there is prioritizing your tasks. And I don't think that is what people want. They want to know how it is going to help their lives. What are the benefits of using the creators journal? So one of the benefits of creators journal is you have more time, you save more hours a week, you get more happy with all the gratitude logs there. You end up more happier than you were before you were journaling. So we started to realize that people don't want features, they want to know what the benefits of your products are. So even benefits are sold in a way. So how do you sell benefits? You sell benefits by selling transformation. Let that sink in. You sell benefits by selling transformation. Somebody's life changing story is the decision making thing that some other client wants to hear. They want to hear the story of somebody whose life was impacted by a product, somebody whose life was changed by a service. So transformation sells benefits, and benefits sell your products. So before transformation, there is pre-transformation. And by pre-transformation, I mean priming your audience to be ready to take the next big step. I'm drinking the water right now. Just 3 seconds break. So priming your audience to be ready to take the next big step is just as important as selling your product. And people and businesses do this all the time. They try to sell before they even prime their audience. So there are different stages that an audience has to get through. They come in as cold leads, and you have to warm them up, and you have to make them believe in you. You can't just directly sell them, shove your product in their faces and tell them to buy stuff from you. You can't do that. You have to prime your audience to do the next big step. So one way to do that is to create good content for free that will allow your audience to change their mindset about doing business with you, about the struggles that they're facing. So after you understand that, you have to realize what transformation content triangle is. So it starts with pre-transformation, as you can see in this figure, and in the pre-transformation you prime your audience by giving them the right service for free, right content for free, to allow them to know that their problem can be solved, that their problem is something that can be eradicated, that can be solved by proper skills, tactics, mindsets. And what this does is it allows your ideal client to be ready for your product. So that is when you give them an offer to your service, product, or an idea. And then once they buy your product, once they do business with you, once they take in your service, their lives get transformed. Their pain points gets removed. They become a different person. They become B. So using that transformation story, you can use that to pre-transform other ideal clients. So this is how it works. So in this short webinar, we tried to cover as much as possible. We tried to drop as much value bombs as we could, and we want to make sure that we do this on a daily basis, and we want to be able to help you to create your brand online. So next week, in this exact day, I mean Sunday, in this exact time, that is 3:30 p.m. and we'll be starting at 3 p.m. by just to get that initial momentum going. And next week we're going to discuss about how to